and we are about to get underway. A lot of burgundy in the house. Arkansas in the darker jerseys, and Kayla Timpson tips it over to Tania Latson, a 5'8" sophomore from Miami. It didn't take long.
It doesn't take long. And if you're Arkansas, you got to get on that right hand. You got to force her to hit tough twos.
Florida State coming off a loss to Stanford. And then Scott fires one up. Timpson tried to corral it. It was off of Doughta, so the ball goes over to the Seminoles. We take a look at their starting five. Alexis Tucker is a grad transfer, played out in California. Sarah Bajetti using her final year of eligibility. And Omaria Gordon is having an incredible season, finally healthy.
She absolutely is, as Tania Latson gets called for the offensive foul right there. Began the season with back-to-back 20-point games, did Omaria Gordon.
Was able to finally have a chance to train during the offseason and not rest and rehab. Timpson with the block shot. That is one of her specialties. 6th in the nation, leads the conference, averaging over 3 blocks per game. Timpson a couple of years ago came in rather raw and has really worked on her game.
The most improved player in the ACC a year ago. Is extending her range. Brooke Wyckoff talked about asking her to shoot 3-point shots this year.
Doughta with the miss. Timpson couldn't come up with it, so a second chance for Makayla Daniels, who came back to use her COVID year. She is a graduate guard out of Frederick, Maryland. Has started all 5 years. Timpson inside, a little bit too strong off glass. Both of these teams play at an incredible pace. Among the nation's leaders and getting possessions per game, and that's a nice finish for Samara Spencer.
And both of these teams have guards who are really good at getting downhill. Terrific human being, is doing an outstanding job here with this Florida State team.
With staying at her alma mater, there's a tie-up with Washington where he coached Kelsey Plum. And she led the nation in scoring and scored more points than anybody else in the history of the game.
And coaching his alma mater as well. He is. And Mike Neighbors talked to us about, in his 7 seasons, this is the team that he feels like has the most opportunity for growth throughout the season. The ball on the floor. Shooters have to be ready to shoot it, and Omaria Gordon was.
Poffenbarger, her 3 doesn't land. Gordon. Cut off nicely
nice
by
look.
Spencer, and then, terrific look in the 9 points per game. So Latson, the most improved player in the ACC last year, and Gordon got to be in the conversation. Sarah Bajetti. Sarah Bajetti, who is in her 5th year out of Helsinki, Finland, and just a really good defensive player. Heady, terrific pass, and there's the drive and the finish.
Samara Spencer just does such a good job of being a complimentary guard. Makayla Daniels.
Maya Bonner, who is in her 1st year at Florida State, coming over from Cal. Another turnover for Arkansas. 1 on 2, but Latson took it right to Poffenbarger, who rejected it. Latson called for the ball.
We can't afford to turn the ball over 17, 18 times.
They take on SEC teams so far. Latson has gotten some stuff done, including the career-high 35 points at Florida. That's most by any ACC player this year anywhere. That looks good. That is the first. Bajetti with the left hand just had it rim out. Now the drive, you see the frenetic pace. Coming back close to home, Fort Lauderdale, which is not really all that close. From Orange Park, Jacksonville-ish.
Mike Neighbors talking to Talia Scott about trying to get to the rim, trying to get to the free throw line, get a couple of easy buckets.
Yeah, she's really good at getting to the free throw line. On average, 7 times per game. Arkansas with the ball and the lead. Scott.
Good job of getting there, establishing position, and taking the contact.
Another block underneath by Ellis, and now Scott is under the basket holding her hand over her left.
Looked like the follow-through of Omaria Gordon got Makayla Daniels in the face. Omaria Gordon goes up for the shot and comes down and just comes right across. Inadvertent contact, of course, but comes right across the face of Makayla Daniels.
There she is over on the bench. Don't expect her to have to sit for long. Coming up on a minute left to play in the first quarter. Position underneath. That's good work by Timpson. Left open, the three sails and goes into the bottom of the net. That's the freshman Carla Villegas, who has only taken 1 2-pointer all year. About a 4-second difference between the clocks.
Try to get this handoff right here.
Keats, that's a backup, or a step back three, pardon me. Timpson tips it around. They got to hurry, but Florida State can do that. The heave to end the first quarter. Follow that on ABC with UConn and Texas. Flip over for Ohio State and Tennessee on ESPN, also on the ESPN app, as we continue to have some terrific non-conference matchups before we get to the thick of the conference schedules. Pam Ward and Stephanie White joining you, where we have two of the high-powered, at least fastest teams in the college basketball world, but they're not making a lot of shots, and that's the 7th block already for Arkansas. Outside shot, bottom of the net.
Samara Spencer has been carrying this team offensively. She's got 9 points in this ball game.
First in the SEC and 6 in the entire nation. Mike talking to Puolani over there on the sideline. Good shovel pass over to Dowda, who was left open.
And Makayla Daniels has really had to adjust her game with the addition of Talia Scott. Used to having the ball in her hands a lot. Talia Scott is a volume scorer as well.
True freshman from Orange Park. Body contact with Gordon. Among all players, not just freshmen.
In a tough matchup, and you look at Arkansas's schedule in these 3 games, Marquette, Florida State, then they come back and play UCLA. This is a challenging time for this young team.
It sure is a tough stretch. Timpson elevates, boy.
Wanted to get a taste of what the other side is like.
Wants to go into administration. Wants to be a boss someday. Good for her. Scott with another miss. Still has not gotten a field goal to fall. This is not the Talia Scott that we have seen heading into this game with a dynamic score. Oh, that's it. Come on.
So they don't allow her to come off of the on-ball screen. Instead of trying to press and attack off of it anyway, she rejects, she goes to the rim, she reads the help, she's paced, she's poised, and she's able to finish.
Yeah, National Freshman of the Year, but still room for improvement. We lost Tasha Butts at the age of 41.
Yes.
Also earlier this autumn. So please, the V Foundation has done tremendous things.
It sure has. And if you are able and willing to donate, the impacts and the lives that it's saving, it's incredible. And Brooke Wyckoff talked to us and said that she's feeling really good. She missed 1 exhibition game and was back on the bench.
Yep.
For the opening game of the season.
Yep, remarkable. Has a daughter, Avery, who just turned 10 last week. Florida State now up 23-16 thanks to a 6-0 run. Arkansas has missed 8 straight shots. And there's an offensive.
About a year ago, she might have been sped up in those moments.
Timpson draws.
She's a player that Brooke Wyckoff says we need to get her more touches. Oftentimes, guards get the heavy shot opportunities, so out of timeouts, after free throws, anytime they get a chance to make a play call or slow it down, it's an opportunity to get Timpson a touch.
Yeah, both of these teams are very similar, very guard heavy. And Timpson certainly a special player. Poffenbarger finally gets one to fall. Saylor had missed her first 6 shots, including all 4 from distance. She's already into double-digit rebounds.
And I like that action because that penetration forced a drop, and there was a miscommunication in the popping by Saylor Poffenbarger. She's going to continue to shoot the ball.
Oh, yeah. Shoot or shoot, right? Timpson somehow was able to collect the ball in traffic and send it home. She's coming off a double-double against Stanford. That game had an amazing first quarter. Poffenbarger's turn to draw a foul.
But Saylor Poffenbarger is such a tough matchup. She really can play positions 1 through 5, can handle and be a decision maker with the ball in her hands. It doesn't get stuck. She makes the right play.
Hesitation, and then the hands in the lane. Florida State turns it over as we approach 2 minutes to go in the half. Perfection for Talia Scott. And another play, that length you talked about with Poffenbarger. She's a problem on both sides of the floor if you're an opponent. And there's a 3 buried by Scott.
And we saw some of this on the Arkansas end in the first quarter. Turnovers for scores, and now Florida State returning the favor. Arkansas able to get out in transition, able to get those rhythm threes.
Pagetti drove it, lost it after some contact. Turnage hangs onto the ball. The possession arrow will keep it with the Seminoles.
I mean, good hands by Poffenbarger. This is what she can do. She can guard 1 through 5 as well. She leads the break. Again, you drive, you draw. Great poise by Scott, able to knock that shot down.
Shot clock is off now. Timpson works inside, and another block. Arkansas with a chance to take the last shot of the half, and if they bury it, they'll take a lead into the locker room. Everybody looks over to Mike Neighbors to get some guidance. Spencer guarded by Pagetti, their best perimeter defender. Poffenbarger, couple of feet behind the three-point line, and she... As Steph mentioned, there was 2 runs, a 9-0 run and a 12-2 run. As for Arkansas to close out the quarter, there's Timpson starting things off with the block. And then the shot cups out for Tucker. Timpson able to tie it up, and with the arrow, the ball will stay on this end of the floor. Florida State usually takes care of the basketball, but turned it over 10 times, and Arkansas, after a very slow start, has hit 5 threes, just a couple of threes falling for this Florida State team that has averaged 88 points per game. There is another block.
Well, Miriam Dowd has done such a good job of using her length inside, staying vertical, altering shots, and Scott finds the rim again.
You knew it was only a matter of time before she got started. She's 9th in the country, averaging 23 points per game, and she is already now into double figures, and now an offensive foul gives it right back to the Hogs.
Terrific cut by Poffenbarger, draws in secondary defender, the extra pass by Daniels. And one of the things that Mike Neighbors loves about Scott is that you haven't seen her get frustrated, right? She's poised, she's mature, beyond her years. She doesn't get frustrated. She continues to play the game, allows it to come to her.
Meanwhile, on the other end, Gordon just picked up her 3rd personal foul for Florida State. All the way to Dowda, who spots up for the 3. And Poffenbarger is just a beast on the boards. Working double-digit rebounds in the first half alone, and another drive and a score, this time for Daniels.
Extra possessions. Doing a great job on the offensive glass. This is a team in Arkansas that averages about 12 a ball game. Getting extra possessions.
Pagetti didn't score in the first half. That's a nice feed over to Timpson.
And you mentioned the 3rd foul for Omaria Gordon, and no, I don't think it's a coincidence that Omaria Gordon saddled with those 2 early fouls. This is why Omaria Gordon is so important to this Florida State offense. not just scoring the basketball, managing,
Right.
dictating, taking care of it, getting it in the hands of the right people at the right time.
Having a breakout season, had a heel injury last year, finally healthy, great numbers this year, and as you mentioned, the floor leader, very good at handling the basketball, and first in the ACC in assist turnover ratio, and she is on the bench now with 3 fouls. That flat out just came out of the bucket for Tucker. And Florida State is ice cold. Daniels loved it leaving her hands as well she should.
I mean, Brooke Wyckoff, yes, she's going to want a timeout.
Biggest lead of the game, Arkansas. LSU is welcoming back Angel, and there's Stephanie's Fab 5 freshman in the country.
This freshman class is outstanding, electric. You see Juju Watkins, Hannah Hidalgo, Talia Scott, who we're seeing here today. Makayla Williams, you mentioned it, dropped 42 on Kent State. And Malaysia Fulwiley at South Carolina, one of the most electric players in the country.
But Arkansas, Florida State really struggling. This is now a 7-0 Arkansas run. That's an extra step.
They're moving the ball, multiple players touching it. For Florida State, sometimes having a tendency to just go one-on-one, trying to make plays on their own or one pass in offense. You're not seeing 2 or 3, ball getting from one side to the other as Dowda gets an easy 2. Gets stuck right there instead of just going to the other side, getting to the next pass, getting to the next action.
And they're not getting any offensive rebounds either. Dowda got that one for Arkansas. And then the nifty move. Scott, it's an 11-0 Razorback run. Big miss that time, and a good move, right? They need her back in before this gets even more out of hand.
Yeah, I think you got to have her on the floor. Decision maker, giving players the ball. She's also a scorer.
20 seconds left on the shot clock. Gordon showing her quickness, put it up left-handed and got it to fall. Here comes Gordon. Arkansas, good job to get back. That missed everything. The shot by Villegas. And the finish. Another rebound for Poffenbarger. At 21 against Louisiana Monroe earlier this season, and nothing but Gordon bringing the ball up. Trying to make something happen.
You chip away in a ball game, you've got to string stops together.
Beat Florida by 4, and they're not going to get anywhere close. Arkansas really turning things on since about 3 minutes left to go in the second quarter. Another rebound. Dowda gives him a second chance.
Just making the hustle plays, getting the 50-50 balls, doing the little things that it takes to win tough matchups on the road.
Oh, from way downtown, Poffenbarger nailing yet another 3. We get close to just 30 seconds left to go in the half, but Jetty can't get it to go. Scott cut off and decides to get some help. Some of the Arkansas players might taking their time getting up, trying to take as many seconds off the clock as possible. Poffenbarger just missing as a Arkansas Razorback third quarter. Oregon and Washington start off, in the Pac-12. A lot of folks here are interested in the ACC Championship, Louisville and Florida State on Saturday, and the College Football Playoff Selection Show Sunday noon Eastern Time on ESPN, and we will find out who will be in the College Football Playoffs as well. Pam Ward and Stephanie White joining you, and that third quarter was all Arkansas.
It absolutely was. No, they started to heat up in the second quarter and came out on fire. 5 threes, moving the ball, did an outstanding job on the defensive end of the floor. I mean, you can see the numbers right there. 9-2 in terms of made field goals. Crushed.
And since then, she is 4 for 7, and 4 of those makes were from 3. She also has a monster 17 rebounds for Arkansas. This is a Florida State team that is among the nation's leaders as far as offense is concerned, and they have really struggled here against Arkansas.
I mean, when you watch this Seminole team offensively, they're getting some good shots. They're not going in. Get high percentage looks.
They are shooting just 21% from the floor. Scott delivers again. Tucker picked up the foul. And one player of those been playing. Timpson now has a double-double herself. Most improved player in the league last year, also on the all-defensive squad. And Arkansas with this healthy lead, slowing things down a little bit. Poffenbarger kind of running around the three-point line, wants the ball, but instead the three is taken.
You know, if you're the Seminoles, you've got to make an adjustment in how you're playing the on-ball screens as Alexa
Cal transfer.
But look at the spacing for the Razorbacks. Great spacing. It gives them opportunity to play one-on-one to attack, to force long rotations, to find their teammates.
That's another 3. That's the lead back to 17. They have trailed by as many as 23. 6-0 run on back-to-back threes for the Seminoles. Daniels picks up her dribble, shot clock dwindling. Step back 3, nailed by missed everything. And another block by Poffenbarger to follow.
Samara Spencer was 3 for 4 from the floor. The rest of the starters 1 for 20. But again, they stayed true. They stayed the course. They did what they continued to do best and finally found a rhythm on the offensive end.
3 have a big comeback of their own. Poffenbarger had to get it off. And here come the Noles.
One more. Yep. That's a good look.
The drive counted and the foul. Gordon a perfect 3 for 3. Another shot clock winding down. Poffenbarger with the big offensive rebound. 5 minutes to go in the fourth. That is the 20th rebound by Poffenbarger.
Mario Gordon being on the floor, being available for this team is going to be so important.
Her shot missed. That's the 21st rebound for Poffenbarger, which sets her career high. She had 21 in a game earlier against Louisiana Monroe, and she is now 1 away from tying the Arkansas record. Spencer nails a 3. 3 balls starting to fall. Big time for Arkansas.
And that's a big momentum stopping play.
Big time. 13th 3 of the game for the Razorbacks, who average about 9 per game. Second in the SEC, and they're crushing that tonight. But boy, Poffenbarger, so important. Another double-double, 21 rebounds to go along with 13 points. That was after she missed her first 7 shots of the game. That's it. She's now tied the Arkansas record. 22nd rebound for Saylor Poffenbarger. Inside 4 minutes. And keep it here. Gonna get a foul on NC State on the box out attempt. Very frustrating night. They're hitting just 26% of their shots.
This is a team in Florida State that has 5 average in double figures, and they're going to need that. And that is what will make them dangerous throughout the course of this season.
Scott with another tough shot. Gets it to fall.
She's just really smooth, really poised, under control. Certainly we have so many outstanding freshmen throughout the country this season, and Talia Scott is one of them.
Poffenbarger, the second of the season for her, 6th of her career. Jetty finally gets her first points of the night. Inside, that's a terrific feed. Spencer found Dowda.
Well, Florida State trying to trap the on-ball screen. If you don't have the rotation, you're going to be vulnerable.
And Sakai White heads to the free throw line. First year at Florida State. Played at North Alabama and Jones College before coming here. She goes 1 for 2.
But knowing when to slow it down, when to execute. Can you execute in the quarter court? And we're finding out that they can execute very well in time and score situations.
Absolutely counted, and the foul for Dowda. Mike Neighbors said that his goal for this team was to play functionally fast. And they have done that, and now with this big lead, as you mentioned, doing a good job of executing without having to play functionally fast.
And there are going to be times where they have to do that, where you've got to control the tempo of the basketball game, playing with a lead, playing in crunch time situations, and being able to do that.
Got off to that slow start offensively, and boy, since the second quarter, they've taken over. And a great display by the Razorback team that head coach Mike Neighbors says has the biggest potential for growth. He's very excited for this team to grow together. Scott is a true freshman, and she's fantastic.
She sure is. I've been impressed with her poise and composure. We've mentioned it, struggled early, but stuck to it, found her stride. Offensive players, you're going to have days where you struggle, but you got to continue to let it fly, and she has.
Latson with a nice pass leading to the shot by White. Arkansas shooting 32%, but boy, the second half has belonged to them. They outscored Florida State 24-6 in the third, actually being outscored by 5 here in the fourth, but they are going to come away with a victory and move to 7-1 on the season after trailing by 8 points in the second quarter. Latson shows some of her skill. Well, Florida State going to play Kent State and Jacksonville before they go to Uncasville, Connecticut to play UCLA, which is Arkansas's next opponent. But